Welcome to Wine with Chris. This is a new tasting slot. So these little clips are designed to be short and sharp, maybe 2-3 minutes long, and I'll compile them into batches just to give you an idea of some of the other stuff I've been tasting recently behind the scenes. And that takes me immediately to today's wine, which is the non-vintage Brut Reserve Champagne Boiselle. Available from the Wine Society. They had it an offer around Christmas time and I got these 6 bottles for I think well under £30. That was doubly good because around the same time in December's Decanter magazine, this wine was rated 97 out of 100 platinum by Decanter. So what a nice combination. Now, as you can see, I've opened this previously. In fact, I opened it last night and we had a few glasses. And that brings me to another thing. If you're new to champagne or haven't taken it seriously, don't go into the old box of toys or the old kitchen cupboard where you were given a champagne stopper 10 years ago by your grandmother. Do a bit of research, and there isn't much research to be done, but it means you can go on Amazon or wherever, and for 15-20 quid you can get yourself a brand new road tested champagne stopper which will keep the fizz and allow you to drink wine like this over 3 nights. We don't often want to open a bottle of champagne, but a glass of champagne to start the evening's festivities, perfect. Open it on a Friday, finish it up on a Sunday. So here we are on Saturday, halfway through. This model, by the way, is called Clip. I'm not sure the manufacturer, but it's C-L-I-P. And there's a little box clip. And here's another one that I use. This one, the Cheer Moda. Both of them I can recommend. So we'll just unclip this. This, by the way, is, and you can hear the fizz coming out of that. That's really contained that well. This, by the way, is about 30% Chardonnay, 55% Pinot Noir, and 15% Pinot Meunier. The 3 classic French grapes, making this a Brut blend. Let's get that back in, and it really clamps on there. Decanter, when they gave this 97, we're talking about things like plums and licorice and red apples and a huge long finish to this wine in the mouth. I've had one model already. I must say I was not rating at 97. I thought it was good value at the price, but not an outstanding champagne. And I suppose nor should it be, so I'm not quite sure why Decanter rated it so highly. Quite big legs there. Classic champagne nose, the kind of falling into all the old adjectives, you know, the biscuits and the brioche, the cream and the strawberries. You just wonder whether it's because you've read it so many times or whether that's what you're actually smelling. But it genuinely does have that kind of dessert, crunch, meringue type of smell to it. Let's give it a taste. It's lovely. And really has retained its fizz really well overnight in the fridge. I'm definitely getting good acidity on the front there, so that's the red apples coming in, I think. If you can imagine that crunch of red apple, you definitely get that at the front of your mouth and along the side when you first try it. But it's really, you would almost, if you're tasting this blind, I think consider this to be some sort of a vintage, maybe a 5-year-old vintage champagne, because it has a sort of an aged texture to it, sort of a slight savouriness. Just sort of, it's quite full in the mouth. It doesn't, it's not that crisp, lean, citrus acidity. It's really got some body to it. I think maybe the only thing that might let it down is you get that initial burst of those flavors that I was discussing, then it falls away a little bit. I do still have it lingering actually at the back, so it seems to be that the front is very good, very strong, comes in with a punch, and the back you get the longevity as Decanter discovered or commented on, but it's the mid palate. The mid palate just kind of disappears and leaves you a little bit wanting. So for me, that's a 3.5 out of 5, maybe a 4 out of 5 on a good day, but no higher than that. But really, at 28 or 30 quid a bottle, I think it's available generally in the Wine Society when it's not on offer at 35 quid a bottle. At that price it's reasonable, but getting down under 30 quid a bottle, that's an absolute steal, and it's a really good house champagne Friday night with the wife, with the husband, nothing particular going on. Get yourself a good stopper and you get a glass each night of the weekend. This is the wine we're tasting this evening. I can't even pronounce it. It's Roncedovico Vicoroso, and this is a wine about which I know very little, to be honest. I emailed a bespoke seller with a wine that I really wanted back in 2016, and he said, "Oh, really sorry, it's all gone, but don't worry, why don't you buy some of this, because it's equivalent, it's just as good, very similar." So I just bought it on spec, on his advice. I bought 6 bottles, and this is the last one. It's a 2011 Italian Rosso. I believe it is 90 or close to 100% Merlot, maybe a little Cabernet Franc in there, maybe a little bit of a local Italian grape, but it's largely Merlot. I've drunk the 5 bottles, and I drank them probably somewhere between 2016 and 2019, when the wine was 5 years to 8 years old, and every bottle of it disappointed me. I thought it wasn't up to much. You know, I was going to rattle off all these adjectives, but the bottom line is I just didn't think it was very good. I thought the wine cellar had sold me a bit of a pup, and I didn't go back to the wine cellar. This is the last bottle. Now, it's perhaps no coincidence, and certainly the theme that we're looking at the minute, this is now 10 years old. I haven't tried it in a couple of years. I've opened it up this evening, and I'm getting more joy from it. I really am. It's 14%. It's a big wine. If you can just zoom in here, this is where it's from in Italy. It couldn't be more northeasterly, if you can just see on the map there. Let's give it a go. What I love about it is that the smell is just the smell of Italian wine, and those of you who are familiar with Italian wine will know what I mean by that. You can't really describe it, you can't put your finger on it, but you just hope that you would get it in a blind tasting. It smells, there's roses there, there's deep dark fruits there, but there's also that green stem. You know, it's like cutting open the stem of a rose rather than smelling the rose itself. And there's iron in there and minerality. It's really good. It's like a seam in the earth. Let's give it a taste. And as I say, this is the first time I've drunk this wine where it's actually living up to itself. I think now this is 10 years old, and we talked about that plateau. It starts at 10 years, and it's just summited that plateau. It's summited the mountain. This is the best this wine is ever going to be, and I think it's going to stay there for the next few years. Too late for me because they're all gone, but it just teaches me yet another lesson. Don't drink your wines too early, particularly the Italian wines. This is a cheapish wine. I think it was under 30 quid, and it's showing a lot better than some of the Barolos I've been drinking in the last 6 months that were too young. 2013, 2012, 2014. This is the 10-year-old wine. I think I should have been opening the first bottle of this rather than the 6th. And really, you know, don't drink the right wine at the wrong time. Make sure you just let yourself have a cellar that will allow yourself to drink wines as they come of age, and don't be tempted to drink them early, because this is the classic example of something that was disappointing me time after time, and now that it's reached its drinking window, it's just a full expression of fine Italian wine, and it just excites me. You know, I've been disappointed by the last Italians that I've had. As we've seen, I've got 70 odd in the cellar, and I'm now excited again to wait for them to come into their drinking windows so that we can have at them. But in the meantime, you know, cheers to Northeastern Italy. Cheers to all of you. I hope you like, I hope you subscribe, and I'll see you back in the tasting room, the cellar, or outside again very soon.